How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of Schmoedown Central. Got a lot of matches to break down. We got 3 matches this week. I'm your host, Brad Thomas, and we're going to break all of these ones down. Again, apologies for getting this episode up late. I have worked 12 straight days. It's my only day off, then I'm back at it for another 5. So hopefully next week we'll be on time, but until then, let's break down some of these matches. On Tuesday, we had our team match of some newcomers, World's Finest versus the Kingsmen. Eric and Winston taking on Jack and Devin. Great newcomers. I love these two teams. Also, just great comedy between the two of them. It was made for an entertaining match, that is for sure. But round 1 was not too kind for the Kingsmen, and in particular, Jack. He only goes 2 for 8 in this round. Devin going 6 for 8. Meanwhile, Eric was the star of the show, going 7 for 8 in the first round, while Winston had 4 out of 8. This led to an 11-8 lead for World's Finest going into round 2. Round 2, World's Finest was up first to spin, and they spun Pixar movies, and ended up being a solid round for them. They go 5 for 6, and a possible 7 out of 12 points. There was a 1-point steal, though, from the Lightning McQueen number, but other than that, they come out with the 7 points. Kingsmen, on the other hand, they go and spin comedy, and they had a decent round, but when they missed pretty badly. They give up 4 points in steals, one on the Marley and Me answer that they got incorrect, and another one on the man of the house question. Devin seemed confident in his answers when he was answering these questions, but they were completely wrong, and maybe should have taken some time to discuss with his partner. And they end up scoring 6 out of a possible 12 points in round 2. Round 3 was not much kinder to the Kingsmen, as Devin answered, though, his first question correct in DiCaprio movies, but Jack could not come up with the new release question, and then they end up getting the horror thriller question wrong to get World's Finest the victory via TKO 22-17. So World's Finest ends up going 16 for 22 as a team for 73%. Meanwhile, the Kingsmen go 13 out of 25 for 52%. Not a percentage you'd like to see if you want to win some matches. Meanwhile, individually, Eric goes 7 for 8 for 88%, and Winston goes 4 for 8 for 50%. Meanwhile, Jack goes 2 for 9 for 22%, and Devin going 7 for 9 for 78%, although, again, some of those errors in round 2 were on Devin's shoulders. So what does it all mean going forward? Well, I hope the Kingsmen, they were a very entertaining team. I want to see them back. I want to see them get some redemption. It seemed like maybe the lights maybe got to them a little bit, but World's Finest calling out their fellow superhero team, Superhero News. We'll have to see how these two newcoming teams, both 1-0, play out and how they could do in their matches. I assume they will probably get one in the future. And meanwhile, we also find out that Emma has recruited the Shire Wolves, and they are now a part of her faction. So that's great to see. We can't wait to see the Shire Wolves get into action and dominate this team league. Then on Friday, we had 2 matches going up, but if you are a Patreon subscriber, you got to see this one last week like I did, but let's get it broken down right now as Josh Macuga, the number 15 ranked competitor at 7-8, takes on Nick Scarpino, who's unranked at 0-2. Scarpino is definitely looking for a victory in this one, but could he come away with the win? Round 1 saw very solid rounds from both competitors. Josh Macuga going 7 for 8, having that Macuga magic. Meanwhile, Nick Scarpino goes 7 for 8, all because of Josh Macuga knowing the Mentalist actor's name in Simon Baker to go ahead and get that 1-point lead going into round 2. Nick Scarpino was up to spin first, and he spun coming-of-age movies. He goes 3 for 4 in that round with 5 out of a possible 8 points scored in this round, but he did give up a 1-point steal on the first question. Josh, on the other hand, ends up spinning opponent's choice, and because of their Natalie chant, he ends up getting Natalie Portman movies, and he actually goes 4 for 4 in it, albeit having to use multiple choice a couple times, but gets 5 out of a possible 8 points in this round. This led to Josh leading 13-11 going into round 3, as Nick Scarpino was up first with new releases, and he ends up getting that one correct. Back to Josh Macuga for 80s movies, a big strength of his, and he gets that one correct. But it was all down to Nick Scarpino to kind of swing the tables and bring it back to Josh. He couldn't do so with his second question in sports movies, and couldn't come up with the Tom Hanks category either. Gets that one wrong, and Josh Macuga wins this 15-13. A very solid round for Josh Macuga. He improves his record to 8-8 and goes 12 out of 13 for 92%. One of Josh Macuga's best games he's ever had. As for Nick Scarpino, he again drops down to 0-3. He's had some good matches, and this one wasn't that bad. He ended up going 10 out of 15 questions for 67%. Again, not a bad round, just not as good as Josh Macuga's stellar game that he played. So what does it all mean going forward? Well, it means that Josh Macuga has called out his fellow fantasy update partner, Cody Hall. We'll see what happens there. It's going to be a tough match because if Josh Macuga plays like he did today, he should get the victory. But if he plays like he did in his previous match, might not get that victory. As for Cody Hall, he's going into this after a big win over Lon Harris, where he scored a perfect round and got the extra bonus question correct for 9 for 9 in that first round. If he can play like he did in that first round, it could mean trouble for Josh Macuga. But as for Nick Scarpino, though, he drops to 0-3. We'll have to see what he does moving forward in this league. 0-3 is a tough one to come back from, but we'll see what happens going forward. He's an entertaining personality, so hopefully we do see more of him. And for our main event of the week, we got Drew McWeeny coming in with a record of 3-2 and 1 knockout, the number 8 ranked contender versus William the Beast Bibbiani, 3-3, 1 knockout, and the number 12 ranked competitor. This is a big match for William Bibbiani after coming off some losses. He needs to get back in that win column, but can he do so in this match? In round 1, though, we saw both competitors do very well. Drew McWeeny off to a slow start, though, missing the first couple questions, and ends up going 5 for 8 in round 1. As for Bibbiani, he goes 7 for 8, a very solid round 1. He's always good in round 1, but can he close out the match? Round 2 saw Bibbiani spinner's choice, and he goes with the horror category. He goes 3 out of 4 in that round for a total of 6 out of a possible 8 points. As for Drew McWeeny, having a slightly better round than Bibbiani, he gets westerns, goes 4 for 4 in this round, and gets a possible 7 out of 8 points. Bibbiani still had the lead going into round 3 at 13-12, but again, he needed to hang on and close this one out in round 3. Drew McWeeny was up first, and his first question was in the category of classics, a big strength of his, and he ends up going correct on that one. As for Bibbiani, he gets his first question in disaster films, gets that one wrong. Kind of a gut instinct just to go with 2012 being released in 2012. Not the case though for that question. As for his second question, he gets that correct in 90s movies, but now the ball is in Drew McWeeny's court to send it back. A big pull on the Oscar category, getting the Kubrick question correct. And Bibbiani needed to hit his 5-point question to send it back to Drew McWeeny so he could answer his 5-point question, and couldn't come up with the correct answer for the biopic category. Ends up getting that one wrong, and Drew McWeeny wins this 17-15. Drew improves his record to 4-2, getting 11 out of 14 questions correct in this match for 79%. As for Bibbiani, he drops to 3-4 now all time, and he gets 11 out of 15 questions correct for 73% in this match. So what does it all mean going forward? Well, Drew McWeeny wants to challenge the winner of the John Roca JTE match. That'll be exciting no matter who the competitor is. Of course, it'd be very exciting to see Drew McWeeny versus John Roca, one of the veterans in the league. That'll be exciting to see if that has come out as a result of the match coming up in a couple weeks' time. As for William Bibbiani, we're going to have to see what he does going forward. Again, he's on this kind of slide, but who knows what can happen. Again, Sam Levine turned it around, JT's turned it around, Bibbiani can do the same. Just a matter of time. Again, he's gone up against some very strong and tough competitors like Christian Harloff, like a Sam Levine, so we'll have to see what happens going forward. As for next week on the Schmoedown, we got title week coming up on Tuesday. We have the Patriots defending their titles against top 10 for the 3rd time. I'm always team top 10, but the Patriots, I can't deny, they are a great team, but I have a feeling this might be top 10's time to take these ones. They've been on a roll. They had a very impressive last game, so we'll have to see if they're able to take those titles from the Patriots once and for all. If they don't, we'll have to see what the future holds for top 10. And on Friday, we got the singles title match. Sam Levine defends his title against Rachel the Crusher Cushing. I think we're going to see a lot of title swaps this week. I think Rachel Cushing is going to defeat Sam Levine. She is fantastic. If she plays her A game like she did in the triple threat match earlier this season, it'll be her title to keep. As for Sam Levine, again, he could come up if he gets categories that he knows he'll be a force to be reckoned with, but if he does get something like opponent's choice or he does spin animated, he could be in trouble. As for our play of the week, is going to come from the Drew McWeeny William Bibbiani match, where Drew McWeeny hit his 3-point question in the category of Oscars. He wasn't certain on it, but he ends up making this big play, because had he not done this, and even if the Beast did miss his 5-pointer, he still would be behind and be forced to hit his 5-pointer, and who knows what would happen there with whatever category that turned out to be. So a big play by Drew McWeeny in that match. As for our misplay of the week, that's going to come from World's Finest versus the Kingsmen, where Devon ends up saying the wrong answer, shouts out Marley and me without consulting with his teammate, and a big costly error. Again, you need to consult with your partner no matter what on these team type matches. Again, that's just some team chemistry stuff. Hopefully they can fix that for whenever their next match is, but it's just a crucial error, and again followed up by another error. But I think the Marley and me one really sticks out by shouting that one out. But our player of the week is going to come from the other match. We got all 3 matches represented here, and that's Josh Macuga. He had a stellar round, one of his best games he's ever played, going 92%. Again, for someone who's played in 16 matches now, singles matches that is, even more team, very impressive feat for Josh Macuga to have like one of his career bests. 92%, I'm not sure the exact stats, but it must be near the top of the upper echelon of top games played, and he didn't even get to answer all of his questions in the 3rd round, so who knows what would have happened there. Could have improved that percentage, but also could have went down. But again, nonetheless, a solid game by Josh Macuga, and that's why he's our player of the week. So that does it for episode 5 of Schmoedown Central. Again, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos each and every week. Let me know your thoughts, if you agree, if you disagree, in the comment section below about our play, misplay, player of the week, any of my predictions for next week's or even tomorrow's matches, because that's when it comes out. So let me know that in the comment section below. Again, follow me on Twitter at 94BradThomas or Schmoedown Central at SchmoedownCent. Links for those are, of course, in the description. So that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you all next week on Schmoedown Central.